This is Asnath Mtshongo. I'll be talking about what makes South Africa to be the best place to study Earth system sciences. South Africa is a wonderfully popular destination known for its wildlife, landscape, culture, etc. Due to countless reasons, I consider South Africa to be the best place to study earth sciences. To mention a few fascinating facts or reasons for this: remember, there are more than 1,500 plant species on Table Mountain in Cape Town alone. This represents more floral species than the whole of the United Kingdom. This country is the home to the longest wine route in the world, the Cape Route R62, which is about 1,000 kilometers long, and it's beautiful scenic. Coming to the geology of the country, most of South Africa is classified semi-arid, but it has considerable variations in climate as well as in topography. The Table Mountain in Cape Town is one of the 7 wonders of the geological world, and standing at just 580 feet, it dominates the city skyline. And in the Mpumalanga province is considered to be home to the Baidi River Canyon, which is the 3rd largest canyon in the whole world. And the Kimberley's Big Hole is the largest hand-dug hole in the whole world and is deeper than the mountain is high. And so fortunately, I was one of the people who has visited Kimberley through access. The Tugela Falls in KZN are 948 meters high, and they are the 2nd largest waterfall in the whole world. And we have the world's best land-based whale watching spot located in Hermanusquare in Cape Town. And close to ocean, there are Cargo Caves, a 3-kilometer long sequence of caverns of glittering stalagmites and stalactites, which makes the longest underground cave sequence in the whole world. And the Sterkfontein Caves in Gauteng are the site where the oldest human skeletal remains were found in the world. It was about 3.5 million years ago, and this is the place where human race was born. Coming to the oceans of South Africa, the majority of South Africa border consists of the ocean, or 2 oceans to be specific, which according to the International Hydrographic Organization, it officially meets at the Cape Agulhas, the most southern point of Africa, of whole Africa, and its territory includes the Marion and Prince Edward Islands, nearly 2,000 kilometers south of Cape Town in the subantarctic Indian Ocean. And the cold Benguela current is a mineral-rich upwelling current which flows away from the north along the western coastline after having come up from the cold depths of the Atlantic Ocean. The plankton grow in these fertile waters and support large numbers of fish, and therefore a prosperous fishing industry. Overfishing has, however, reduced the importance of these fishing industries, both for local as well as the country's economy. The east coast has the north to south Mozambique Agulhas current, which provides warm waters, and these 2 currents have a major effect on the country's climate. The ready evaporation of the eastern seas providing generous rainfall, while the Benguela current retains its moisture because of the desert conditions in the west. We have several small rivers that run into the sea along the coastline, but none is navigable and none provides useful natural harbors. But the coastline itself being fairly smooth, it provides one good natural harbor at Saldanha Bay north of Cape Town. A lack of fresh water, however, prevented permanent settlement here until relatively recently. The Bay of Natal looks on the map like a good natural harbor, but in its natural state, it was dry at low tides. Nevertheless, busy harbors now exist at Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, East London, Durban, in the Bay of Natal and Richards Bay. Saldanha Bay is today an important harbor at the end of the Sishen-Saldanha railway line for the export of iron ore from the interior. The climate of South Africa Well, South Africa is largely a dry country, with most of its western regions being semi-desert. The rainfall increases in the east, which is the high veld of KwaZulu-Natal, and in the eastern Midlands, and it falls primarily in summer. The narrow southern coastal strip receives all-year rainfall in the east and winter rainfall in the west, which is the Cape Peninsulas and its surrounds. The summers are warm to hot, while the winter temperatures can vary depending on locality, from bitterly cold to cool. Thus, the Karoo, which occupies a large part in the western central plateau, has a climate which is extremely hot in summer and bitterly cold in winter. In contrast, the eastern coastline and the Indian Ocean is lush, well watered and warmed by the Mozambique current. Patches of southern Africa mangroves can grow along this coastline. The southern coast part, of which is known as the Garden Road, is temperate and green. The Cape Peninsula surrounds have a Mediterranean climate with cool, wet winters and warm, dry summers, becoming hotter in interior valleys. Snow commonly falls in winter and higher ground of the Cape Fold Mountains during winter. The Cape Peninsula has a reputation for its wind, the dry southeaster. It's called the dry southeaster, which blows almost instantly in summer, which is from December to February, and the northwester, which accompanies the cold front that rolls from the Antarctic during winter. Winter usually takes from June to August. The vegetation of the Cape area consists of fine boughs, some grassland, and alpine thickets. And the eastern section of the Karoo does not extend as far north as the western part, giving way to the flatland of the Free State, which, though still semi-arid, receives somewhat more rain. The north of the Vaal River, the high veld is better watered, and with an annual rainfall of 760 millimeters, and a high altitude which mitigates against the extreme heat of the inland area and the latitude. Winters are cold, though the snow is rare. Climate change is expected to bring considerable warming and drying to much of this already semi-arid region, with greater frequency and intensity of extreme weather events such as heat waves, flooding, and drought, according to computer-generated climate modeling produced by the South African National Biodiversity Institute. Parts of the southern Africa will see an increase in temperature by about 1 degree Celsius along the coast to more than 4 degrees Celsius in the already hot hinterlands, such as the Northern Cape in late springs and summertime by 2050. The Cape Floral Kingdom, being identified as one of the global biodiversity hotspots, it will be hit very hard by climate change. Drought, increased intensity and frequency by fire, and climbing temperatures are expected to push many rare species towards extinction. Coming to the biology, well, South Africa is home to one of the world's 6 floral kingdoms. It has 1/10, making 23,200 of the world's flowering plants, of which nearly 1,900 are endemic, making it the richest region in the world. In terms of species to area, 1.7 times richer than even Brazil. South Africa is also home to more kinds of mammals than North and South America combined, or Europe and Asia together. Mentioning a few more interesting facts about South Africa, we know that South Africa is home to 8 World Heritage Sites. We have the Mampungubwe cultural landscapes, we have the Robben Island, we have the Cape Floristic regions, we have the Richardsveld cultural and botanical landscape, we have the Fredfort Dome, which is the oldest meteor scar in the world, and we have the Sterkfontein, Swartkrans, Kromsdraai, and Environs fossil hominid sites. Then we have the Isimangaliso Wetland Park, and we have the Ukahlamba or the Drakensberg Park. And well, South Africa is famously is famously known of its production of the rooibos tea, which is used like nationally. And also South Africa boasts 90% of platinum metals on earth. Oh, on the lastly, coming on the culture of South Africa. South Africa culture, it's a very broad topic, talking of culture, because we have like unlimited many different cultures which are catered for in South Africa. And okay, first of all, to start by, we have 11 official languages in South Africa. And South Africa, the culture of South Africa is known for its ethnic and cultural diversity. The South African majority still has a substantial number of rural inhabitants who live like largely impoverished lives. It's amongst these people, however, that cultural traditions survive most strongly. The South Africans have increasingly urbanized and westernized. Aspects of traditions have declined. Talking of traditions, we have Zulu tradition, which is Zulu culture. We have Xhosa culture. We have coloureds. We have Indian culture, which is also part of South Africa. We have part of Indian culture in South Africa. We have Sotho culture, Tswana culture, Tsonga culture, Venda, Ndebele. We have a lot of cultures in South Africa. And also languages include Afrikaans. Mostly spoken languages in South Africa, it's English, Afrikaans, Xhosa, isiZulu, then follows isiSotho, isiTswana, isiVenda, and the list goes on. The urban South Africans usually speak English or Afrikaans in addition to their native languages. And there are smaller but still significant groups of speakers of Khoisan languages. They're not included in the 11 official languages, but are the one of the 8 other recognized languages in South Africa. So we have the 11 official languages. Then we have another eight recognized languages in South Africa. For me, as a South African, of course, I would say South African culture is very fascinating and it's very interesting. It's a large thing. It's a very broad topic. I can talk forever about the culture of South Africa, but under culture, we also have like cultural foods, like Pepe tribe and everything. They have their own cultural food, traditional food and everything, traditional practices, traditional dances, traditional music. Culture include all those. Thank you very much, people.